Today, I'm going to go over the truth, the myth, and some of the hardened facts about doing these low carb diets like keto or carnivore. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Welcome to my freaking crazy channel. Truth, myth, and fact, and what's shocking about it, because I look at these comments on my short videos. All people say is, "You're wrong." And I'm like, okay. And I have to think, what did I say in that video about electrolytes? And I'll say something as simple as, you need electrolytes because when you drop out your carbohydrates, you dump a lot of fluid via your kidneys. And you'll get these comments that say something like, "You're wrong." I'm like, wow, people are really dogmatic. They become vegans. It's kind of scary. I watched the vegan community for many years, and when people started having problems, the other person or the other camp would say, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." Or one person would say, "I've done it for 25,000 years and I'm amazing." I remember when I was in Los Angeles, there was a lot of vegans, and they always looked terrible. All of them. Didn't matter if they were young or older, they looked terrible. But people become very dogmatic and culty to protect what they feel has improved their life exponentially. So let's go over some of the things that you really need to pay attention to be successful about your health. Most people who come to my channel know that I don't mess around. I don't rosy flower anything. So let's go through it. Let's talk about the benefits of a carnivore diet to start this off with. Number one, it's amazing because you're eating really high quality food. Plants don't have the same type of vitamins, let's say, or fat soluble vitamins that meat would have. Meat has vitamin D, E, A, and K, especially in the fatty bits of the animal. So people will ask me, "Hey, can you do a vegetarian or vegan keto diet?" And I'm like, no, because it's a high carb diet. This is a high animal fat diet. It's very difficult to get into ketosis. You can't on plant fats. You must have animal fat. So that can be ketogenic or carnivore diets. The ability to access organ meats and fatty cuts of meat to help stabilize your blood sugar, take down insane amounts of inflammation because people are eating processed grains and candies and muffins and bready things. When I do these consultations with people, the thing that I notice the most is leaky gut. And that can come from eating wheat, cereal, grains, processed foods. On a carnivore diet, all of that's gone. It's all gone. It's amazing. People still are trying to make their carnivore diets processed, like they want pork rinds and they want bacon instead of really going for the whole cuts of meat. But if you actually go for the whole cuts of fatty meats, the vitamin and mineral and the protein content is off the chain. It's amazing. That's the benefit of a carnivore diet. It's really great at bringing down your inflammatory markers in the beginning. I mean, it's amazing. If you come from a straight up carb diet and your insulin's out of control, your blood sugar's over 110, in the very beginning you might see a drop in insulin. So all of these things are very advantageous. The ability to drop inflammation, the fluid from being puffy on carbohydrates, right? Because for every gram of a carbohydrate that you consume, your body can hold up to 4 grams of water. That's a lot of cellular water. So that's not necessarily good. People say, well, if you bleed and hemorrhage, which is a negative thing about carnivore, minerals so easy, then why don't we just do carbs? Well, in nature, we wouldn't have processed carbohydrates. Our pancreas is not equipped to deal with even 30 grams of carbs on a daily basis. Now, if you're doing honey and you're splitting it with the tribe and it's in season, it's seasonal, fine. We have amylase, we have insulin, but to have sugars and fructose that high constantly starts to damage cells. This is called advanced glycation end product. So you don't really go through that type of glycating on a carnivore diet. Unless, this is a negative thing, if you eat way too much protein. Excess protein converts back into glucose, and then people start having high blood sugar on carnivore diets. And if you don't believe me, just go get a glucometer, eat 12 ounces in one meal, and watch your blood sugar go to the freaking sky. So the pro would be really to get the inflammation down. If you have eczema, if you're inflamed and achy joints and you've been eating a lot of vegetables or processed foods, it's also great if you're going from veganism to carnism. It's great to get a lot of those inflammatory markers down, to purge out some of these anti-nutrients like oxalic acid or oxalates. These are all really great benefits. If you become a ketogenic, this means to get into ketosis as a carnivore, now you're really doing great. Now you're really after the stable energy and to bring your insulin down or make it sensitive. Now when all your inflammatory markers go poof, and then you have sustained energy. But the problem is, this is a negative side effect, is that when you do it too long without any fiber, especially prebiotic fiber, the gut microbiome has nothing to attach itself to. So if you take like kefir, if you're drinking kefir and there's no prebiotic fiber in your gut, now your gut has a hard time stabilizing bacteria. I've worked with so many people who have experienced this affectation. So when you get the random person who believes that they're so fine, you can't change their mind. They're very dogmatic. I've done this and I'm amazing. Or you'll get like, oh, well, this guru's done it for 11 years and they're perfect. Well, guess what? I've spoken to a lot of them and they're not doing perfect. They just don't tell you that they're not doing perfect. In fact, no diet where you're taking out carbohydrates when your body is used to carbohydrates is ever going to just feel great every day if this is a fuel source that your body is now not having like a constant supply of stored glycogen within the muscle. So people have issues. That's why Paul Saladino added fruit. That's why Frank Tufano had high iron levels. It's terrible. That's dangerous to have your iron levels get that high. Now, I think there are other factors. I don't think it was just eating a lot of red meat. But yeah, it really contributed to him stopping a carnivore diet after doing all these crazy videos. But if you look at other gurus like, well, I'm not going to say names at this juncture, but you know who I'm talking about. They're going to say it's amazing. You just eat meat. It's fabulous. Everything's wonderful. But nobody's going to tell you when you're having a bad day, especially if you're not fat adapted. That excess glucose from the protein is going to mess with your blood sugar. Just use a glucometer. But the thing is, some people will drop their inflammation so dramatically that all of the pitfalls it doesn't bother them. So they don't focus on it, or they may not recognize the pitfalls. That's what happened to me when I did keto. It was a slow crawl with me because I already was pretty healthy. I'm doing this high-fat diet. Years are going down the line. I'm working out 6 days a week. My old videos, I was working out 3 hours a day. And I didn't try to really balance my electrolytes. Not really. But I felt fine. 5 freaking years. So if I was in my 3rd year and I heard somebody talk like me, like, oh, you're going to feel like crap soon if you haven't already, then people would just be like what they're doing now. You are absolutely tripping. You're full of shite. And I don't really care. Like, they're watching my channel though. And then they comment, like, I don't know why people comment. If I didn't believe somebody, I'd be like, bye, Felicia. The takeaway of the benefits of a carnivore diet is literally getting that inflammation down. Definitely. Dropping a lot of that fluid, the poofiness from having any type of inflammatory disorders, the ability to start healing the gut, if you're having joint pain or bad menstrual cycles, on the standard American diet. Also the benefits of not having to eat a bunch of glyphosate-ridden plants or not consume constant anti-nutrients like the oxalates or the salicylates or the goitrogens. If you're having a thyroid problem and you're eating all these goitrogenic cruciferous vegetables and you're eating salads and you don't know that you're having a difficulty getting iodine into the thyroid gland. These are the benefits of doing a carnivore diet in the beginning. But like I said, 3 to 6 months into it, some people notice things right away when they start to feel electrolyte imbalances, but some people don't feel anything or they don't notice things for a few years. So there's a lot of downfalls, and I'm going to go through some of them, like gout, high uric acid levels, high urea, your bun creatinine levels go off the hizzy, high iron, having foamy urine from eating too much protein, kidney pain, back pain, adrenal insufficiencies, constipation, loose stool, can't sleep, tired, really chronic fatigue, tired, the chronic dehydration, the muscle twitches, the facial twitches, the foot cramp, the lock, the rib locks up, thirsty, over consuming water, diluting the sodium in your blood, and the inability to get enough potassium in. These are real things. That's the reason why Paul Saladino added fruit, to keep more minerals within the cells, to keep himself hydrated. It's not just drinking water, it's also balancing your minerals. And that is something people don't consider. So those are the pitfalls, and I just kind of ran through them really quickly. If you do a carnivore diet 6 months, you don't need to go any further. You can start introducing some plants, and I mean very small amount. All you need is about a golf ball size compressed in your hand every other day or one time a day. You don't have to eat vegetables all day long if you have food in your stool. And these are the people that really should really do carnivore. If you look into your poop, look at your poop, and there's food in there, you've got leaky gut, which is pretty bad, which is obviously another benefit, is to help seal the gut wall in the beginning, like take away all the inflammatory foods. You don't need to do the GAPS diet. You can just do carnivore, which is a great lifestyle dietary measure. The problem is when people are wanting their weight loss results, that's a myth. You're not going to lose weight on a carnivore diet if you're walking into a carnivore diet with metabolic derangement or inflexibility. Now, you can lose weight on the scale, but you're not going to lose the fat weight. You can lose muscle, you can lose water, you can lose your DHEA and have reproductive hormonal issues, you can lose your sleep, the ability to poop, a normal, nice poop without coffee. But you really need to understand that this lifestyle is amazing for the short term. Then you can add a little bit of plant matter. You can add seasonal plants in a very small amount. But as long as you're on top of your electrolytes, there's a theory that the matrix from eggshells and bones like chicken bones and fish bones can provide an avenue for your microbiome to attach, to flourish within the gut. And if that works, you don't need to eat a plant. You don't. You're going to have a hard time, I'm not going to lie, getting enough potassium in. So you might have to do it for that. A lot of you guys do not understand electrolytes, how sodium and potassium have this sort of teeter-totter rhythm of going in and out of the cells, these channels. And if you're doing meat with salt, it's just not enough. And people argue this, hunter-gatherers, like they fasted. That's another really dangerous thing, is to do carnivore, which you're depleting your minerals, right? Because you're not getting enough from the meat. You have to take supplemental. Now, if you did a carnivore diet with supplements, this is what vegans do, which is so stupid. I'm supplementing B12 through sea or moss or whatever. Yeah. I really wish, I know that carnivore is so amazing and has its benefits, but if the other gurus would just to explain, if you're having this problem, or if you're having this problem, you might want to be careful how you do this diet, because you might make yourself hyperthyroid or hypothyroid. You might drop your testosterone or make yourself estrogen dominant, or the gallbladder. People are eating fatty cuts of meat, and this is a downfall to it. And they're just experiencing this awful, discomfort, pain, bloated, neck pain, shoulder blade pain, greasy stool, pale stool, yellow stool. Keto is kind of an alignment with carnivore. I like it more because you get a lot more potassium. You've got the potassium in meat, and you have the potassium in plants, and you get the prebiotic fiber. Boom, voila. You have all of that. And for those who have a hard time with LCTs, long-chain triglycerides, then for the very short term, they can do until they suss out the gallbladder. You can do a coconut oil, olive oil, or avocado oil with fat trimmings, and then go on a strategy to fix the gallbladder because you can't adapt on plant fats. That's also a short-term solution. Now, ketogenic diets obviously can be done for years, because I've done it for years. But if I don't stick on top of my electrolytes, it's a wrap. Nausea, headaches, facial twitching, muscle cramps, diarrhea, lethargy, blood sugars unstable, can't sleep, just by not balancing my potassium with my sodium. It's insane. You cannot go a second without having water. If I go out and work on my farm, more like a ranch because I'm from California, I know, it's the Titanic. But now I'm in Tennessee. But if I don't drink water while I'm doing fencing, I pay for it later. I don't sleep well. I wake up with a cramp in my calf the next morning. That's the real problem with ketogenic diets and carnivore diets, is when you don't have the carbs at all, right? The starches, the sugars at all. Then you're constantly peeing more often. No one talks about this stuff. This is the downfall. But the absolute benefits of a ketogenic diet are exponential, which if you do high-fat carnivore diets, the same. You have stable energy. Your sleep improves. The gut's able to heal. With a ketogenic diet, you're able to add avocados if you have no sensitivity to them, and it's loaded in fiber. Yes, it is loaded in monounsaturated fat, and the best, it's loaded in potassium, and I mean freaking loaded. It suffices to balance your electrolytes as long as I have an avocado a day, because I can tolerate them. Not a small one, medium to large one, with 2 to 2.5 liters of water a day, and balancing around a teaspoon of salt. I can go for hours being in ketosis. No crashing, no cravings for sugar. These are the benefits of a carnivore and keto diet when it's high fat, is that your food, sweet tooth, your binging issues, they all go away. They just go away. People are like, don't you miss this and that? I'm like, oh no. Oh no, hell no, never. But the myth is that, let's get to the myth. If you're eating high protein and not pooping, then you're using all the protein. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's no disrespect to anyone, but people are coming to me with this question. When you are supposed to extract what you need out of food, and there are byproducts, waste products that you have to poop out. And you need to poop out, because if you're not pooping, you're not getting out estrogen. And a lot of people are estrogenic from the air, the water, the food, the products, the plastics, the receipts from restaurants. And they get trapped in your liver. They start doing a job on your gallbladder. They literally drop your testosterone, raise your dihydrotestosterone. I mean, the xenoestrogen effect of outside estrogen mimickers getting on or in your body is real. And if you're not pooping that out, see, no one's talking about that. You need to poop out the trash. We're getting it every day. I live in a camper until this house is built, and every single thing that is not of real material plastics in any kind of way, any exposure to it. You can touch something and rub it on your skin. You know, the bleach on this napkin, there's bleach on it. That's chemicals. Plastics constantly everywhere. This is plastic. And if I heat it up and I have it between my hands, it's going right into my skin within 30 seconds. Yeah, not good. You must poop every day. And if you have hard stool, that's constipation. If you poop every day. If you're doing every other day, it's constipation. People think they're not constipated, but they are. If you need coffee or magnesium citrate to poop, that's a problem. So the myth is that you can eat high protein and keto adapt and lose weight. Nonsense. It's your hormones that make you gain weight, lose weight, muscle weight, fat weight. It's hormones. That if you're not pooping, that it's great, and you can get all of your electrolytes from friggin' meat. These are all lies. All. And when it comes to fasting, our hunter-gatherers didn't have bills, didn't have toxins in the air, didn't have to deal with the heavy metal exposure, they didn't have leaky gut, weren't on antibiotics or any other type of pharmacological interventions. We're not the same. We fundamentally were the same, sort of, when we're born, unless your mom, in the epigenetic line, your mom was eating garbage while in utero, then that's going to affect you as soon as you're born, which they were not exposed to. These hunter-gatherers had like beautiful microbiome. Not us, though. We're on supplements and protein shakes, all this stuff that the kidneys and your organs have to filtrate, like liver and kidneys. That's going to affect your gallbladder and your pancreatic function because of the biliary duct system. So there are some truths, there are some myths, and there's some facts. The facts are you can jack yourself up. The myth is that if you're not pooping, it's fine, and that you can adapt on high protein. I hope this helps, and I'm out. Oh, yes, I'm working on the challenge. It's not finished yet. I will announce the signups for March. It's not ready yet. Also, with the retreat, I'm a speaker at this retreat that I was invited to. And I said, I've always wanted to interview Scott, just way before any retreats. And I said, you are welcome to talk about the retreat on my, in a video, sort of like a real talk, because I really like what Scott's trying to do. And it's in the Smoky Mountains where it's absolutely gorgeous. So go to Wired number 4 Health if you're interested in that. But otherwise, you guys know I don't promote that many products because I just don't. I don't promote any junk products, especially when it comes to food. If it's other things like shoes, there's a company called I forgot the name of them. I haven't really promoted them that hard because I'm been too busy with my house. But once I'm settled in, you know, the ergonomic shoes or like glucometers, things of this nature, absolutely advantageous, and it won't hurt you like the food that's oxidizing, and all those things matter as well. Another myth is that you're going to get all of the nutrients that you need out of desiccated liver and kidney. You're not. It's oxidizing. You're not getting all of the vitamins, minerals, proteins, and like diamine oxidase from kidney. You're not going to get all of that if it's in a capsule. So just note. And if you do get desiccated, whatever, put it in the freezer or it will oxidize. And I'm out. Comment below. Do any of these subjects resonate with you, or do you think I'm tripping? Comment below. Share this content. Subscribe. If you want to find me on Instagram, I do a lot of health stuff there. Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. You can sign up for my course where I cover all 3 diets, because a lot of you can't do carnivore because you either have severe hypoglycemia or you have a gallbladder issue and you must eat high fat, not high protein. Yeah. So there's low carb, high fat, keto, omnivore, and carnivore, and they all are great and they all have their place. Yeah, and that's a monthly subscription-based membership course. And I'm out. Peace.